Even though it's just now starting to come up in the news, pharmacists say it's a problem they've been dealing with for a long time. Workers' compensation is something historians say will go down in the books as something that benefits both employers and their employees. Members of a jury have listened to a variety of witnesses, from friends of Hayden to truck drivers and even Zemke's family. There's some movement out there right now. We just saw a couple of minutes ago. It looks like they were pulling something out of the water. Now authorities say he has even more, including $50,000 in coins they say they found at the tattoo parlor he owns. Their dive turned deadly after they waded into forbidden waters. You can hear behind me, some people are already taking a stab outside in Portage County. I'm Anna Carrera, Newsline 9. Pharmacists at the Marshfield Clinic say they spend about 2 hours a day just figuring out how to make ends meet. Now that they're running out of some prescription drugs, they have to be creative.
Work with the doctors to say, okay, this is how much we have left. These are what we have for options. This is when we think we're going to be able to get more medications, and then work through the process and how we're going to get through the shortage.
Prescriptions can be pricey on their own, and pharmacists say having to make substitutes can increase healthcare costs even more.
And there's also a lot of organizations that will buy medications and then sell it to the gray market, which is kind of the not quite legal way that you can get medications, and then the price goes up dramatically.
Aspirus and Marshfield Clinic leaders say they don't use the gray market at all. Those scalpers can charge as much as they want for their drugs, sometimes asking for up to 600% of their market value. And technically, it's not illegal. Another concern with the drug shortage, wholesalers who stock pharmacy shelves. Since demand fluctuates, manufacturers often don't know how much to supply, or they could stop supplying altogether.
If one of these manufacturers decides they want to stop production and we have a shortage now, it might be 3 years down the road before somebody else is able to produce the drug.
When 9-year-old Jada Meyer heard about the storms that struck Merrill, she wanted to do something to help.
I heard this commercial on the radio saying that Merrill got hit by a tornado, and I felt bad for them.
Jada says she's been to Merrill before. From miles away, this Medford Elementary School 4th grader figured a penny saved could be a penny earned for Merrill tornado victims.
It just touched her, and she wanted to help.
When I heard it, I'm like, Mom, can we do a food and penny drive for Merrill?
And what'd your mom say?
Yes.
So Jada and her mom got to work decorating these plastic tubs and passing them out to a bunch of businesses around town.
It's pretty cool that so many got involved with this, and a lot of them have just been so proud of Jada for pulling this off and making it work, and a lot of support.
From Bogies on Main to BB's Aquatics down the street, this penny drive turned into a community effort. Plus, Jada brought a bucket into each grade level in the elementary school to collect donations there.
So far, we have that much money in our jar.
Jada's week-long effort continues at the elementary with food and money ready to take to Merrill. A project still in the works for this little leader with a big heart.
For her to think of this was just astonishing. We couldn't be more proud of her.
Anna Carrera, Newsline 9, Medford.
We realized that
it was standing room only at the Oneida Senior Center.
Something I've done in every election that I've been a part of, and you can see in recalls around the state, the candidates are always meeting to talk to each other in person and take random questions from the audience.
Debate organizers asked the candidates to answer 8 questions in writing to present to the crowd. Since Simic didn't show, they decided not to read her answers. Instead, Senator Holprin answered those questions in the few from the audience. Holprin defended his decision to leave the state with other Senate Democrats back in February.
There are many, many others who said, you were doing your job, you were doing your duty. Thank you for giving us time to have a voice.
Debate organizers say Simic never committed to being at the event because she already had plans to be somewhere else. So we caught up with Simic about 45 miles away from Hodag country here in Anago.
The schedule's been set already for, the last few weeks. A big district, trying to get out and meet as many people as I can. The voters are who I need to meet right now.
Simic says she's focusing on going door to door and visiting businesses. During our interview, we also asked Simic about her failure to pay property taxes on time for much of the past decade.
I'm a struggling small business owner like over 50% of the people up here, and sometimes in the month of January we might not have the money with a tourist-based business, and so we pay it when we get it.
Anna Carrera, Newsline 9. 2.5-year-old Allie Burnt loves learning new tricks from big sister Chloe. The girls are a lot alike, but there are differences. Shortly after Allie was born, her parents noticed their second daughter just didn't have an appetite. They say her eating habits, or lack thereof, took a toll on their little girl.
It was hard because every parent just wants their child to eat, and it's just a natural thing to be hungry.
Finally, one doctor came up with an idea.
The doctor asked, what do you think of the feeding tube? We kind of looked at each other and said, let's just do it.
Doctors gave Allie a Mickey button, which connects to a tube inside her body. Now Mom and Dad can feed her in a slightly unconventional way.
Can you lift up?
Doctors ran more tests and found out she had a few significant food allergies.
Can you eat rice checks?
Yeah.
And string cheese?
Yeah.
But still, no solid reason for why little Allie won't eat.
We almost think she really doesn't feel hunger. We're not sure yet. We're still looking for answers.
Mama, going down.
So the Burnt family relies on this tiny tube, a lifeline for their daughter.
With the feeding tube, she's getting all the nourishment that she needs, so she's on track, she's growing, and that's the biggest hurdle.
4 times a day, Allie needs a feeding. And when she goes to bed, a pump keeps her body full of the nutrients it needs.
It's a lot of work, but obviously, you know, your child is worth it.
Even though they don't know what the future will hold, the Burnt family feels grateful for the feeding tube that they say saved their daughter's life.
She can, you know, play sports, do all the things that other kids can do with her feeding tube. She just eats a little bit differently. That's all.